Good morning and welcome to the last day of the Boccia Australian National Titles for 2025. What we have for you today is all the individual players have set themselves up into individual teams and pairs, and we're going to play here an individual. I'm sorry, we're here today looking at a mixed pairs game between two New South Wales teams. The red team, which we'll probably just call New South Wales Red for the interests of brevity, is made up of Liam Titterton playing in box number 2, you can see there, and his ramp operator Piotr Pokst in the red hat. His partner is Marky Alicia and his ramp operator Marvin Jurig. Both of them obviously from New South Wales, wearing the blue uniforms. Everybody wearing the blue uniforms today. They're going to play Jameson Leeson and her ramp operator Jasmine Hayden, and Wendy Evans and her ramp operator Kylie Jarman. They're in boxes 3 and 5. We're in the warm-up period here at the moment. The players, particularly rampers, would like to get out on the court and roll their balls a little bit. They've done that earlier, but this is the formal warm-up before we start the actual game. The referee is Maz Lester with a nice warm hat on. Maz comes from Queensland, and it's a very, very cold morning here in Canberra, so she's well rugged up. As am I. A hot cup of coffee early in the morning. The referees, when their court is ready to go, you'll see them move back and stand on the cross in the middle of the court to indicate to the head referee that they're ready to go. Boccia! And we're ready to go. Head referee Lisa Hansen's there, getting the game underway. The first jack will be set by the player in the furthest right box as we look at it, and that's Liam Titterton. His ramp operator there, Piotr Pokst, following directions from Liam. As we said earlier, the ramp operators have no agency at all in this game. They are there purely to do what the athlete instructs them to do. And we've said before, and we'll say it many times, I think, the relationship between the athlete and the ramp operator is very important. They both have to understand what is often complicated conversations between the two of them. Although the ramp operator can't actually say anything to their player, they must know what they want them to do. Liam putting on some glasses there with one eye blacked out so that he can aim his ramp just a little bit more accurately. The jack's set, I would say, at around about 3 metres. Fairly short these days for a jack from a BC3 player. But he obviously thinks that this will give him some advantage over Wendy and Jameson. See, he's using a hand pointer there to release the ball. The player in the BC3 classification has to be the last person to touch the ball. I think he would have liked that to have been in front of the jack and touching. The jack is open now for either Wendy Evans or Jameson Leeson to take Jameson coming up to have a look, just to see exactly how far away from the jack the red ball is. Back into her box. Those player boxes that you can see, 1 metre by 2.5 metres, very important for BC3 players to have all of their equipment, and they do have a lot of equipment, and their ramp operators have to be inside that box before they release the ball. I think Jameson here would be looking to do what Liam would have hoped to do, to get a ball in front of the jack and touching it, and hopefully using a soft ball that would be harder to move if their opponents have to knock it away. Jameson Leeson ranked number 1 in Australia very, very experienced now, although young, international player as well, travelling around the world and playing in the Paralympics and world titles. And Wendy Evans has done exactly what she needed to do. Got her blue ball in front of the jack and touching it. And it's up now to the red players, Mark and Liam, to work out how to get that blue ball away from in front of the jack and replace it with their red ball. It looks like, yes, I think it's Mark, Alicia, taking the shot here. Mark's fairly new to Boccia, doesn't have a national ranking yet, but I know he's been training with Daniel Michel and Jameson, and really, really working on his game. He would be trying to use a hard ball here to counteract the softness of that ball that's sitting in front of the jack. All these decisions have to be made on the run by these people, although they would have probably had some discussion overnight about what they were going to do in this game, and probably earlier this morning too, when they were just checking the calibration on their balls. Mark's ramp operator, Marvin Jurig, there, putting the ball exactly where Mark wants it to be. He's gone for knocking the white ball away. That's interesting. There is an angle there, and that's the great thing with the pairs and teams competition. You do get a wider angle than if, as with individual play, you're playing from the two middle boxes. You very much have the same angle as your opponent. But here you can see there'd be a vast difference in the angle onto the head between what Liam can see from box number 2 and what Jameson can see from box number 5. And you can use that angle to do shots that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Yeah, it's still blue touching. I think maybe they might need to use a little more power just to get those red balls touching the jack. You can see Mark there lining up his ball. Some of these players have a transparent sleeve in the ramp that the ball goes down. Makes it easier to aim the jack. Moving around in the box a little bit there, you can see how constricted that is when you've got somebody in a big wheelchair, a huge ramp, a box full of balls, head pointers, and another person who's your ramp operator, and all that has to be done and back in the box before the player can release the ball. These players have 6 minutes to play all 6 balls. The red team at the moment have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left and 3 balls left. I don't think there's a lot of need to rush at this point. The communication between the player and the ramp operator does take up a little bit more time than with other classifications. Oh, and he's done a perfect job there. He's rolled his ball over the ball and pushed the jack back onto the red ball that's to the right of the jack as we see it here. It does leave the shot open though for particularly Wendy Evans there in box number 3 to push the blue ball back through between the 2 red balls and take the jack. Is that what she's thinking? We'll see. Wendy and Kylie have been working together for many, many years now, and they almost think with one mind, almost like sisters. I think they first came together when Wendy was representing Australia in Korea a few years ago in an international game there. Wendy ranked number 2 in Australia, and I think she's done it. Wendy from my home club, Hunter Boccia in Newcastle. And she's a wonderful lady, an immense sense of humour. The minute that Wendy rolls into the room, the level of excitement and happiness just rises. Okay, who's going to take the shot now for the red team? It looks like Liam. Instructing his ramp operator on the extensions on his ramp he'd like to use. He's going for power. Obviously, when a ball is rolling down a ramp, the further you can roll it, the further it drops, the more power is behind it. So Liam here, probably using a hard ball and a great length on the ramp. He's rolled that through, separated them out, but the red ball is still further away than the blue ball. So once again, the red players get to choose who shoots. Got just over 1 minute left and one ball to play. And that's Liam again. What he can do now is push the red ball that looks to me to be directly in front of him, push it back onto the white ball. And if he can get the red ball to stop slightly to our left on the side of the jack, that might prevent the blue team from pushing their ball back onto the jack. Liam's got all this going through his mind as he's setting up his shot. Yeah, he's pushed it back onto the jack. They're holding, but again, that might be slightly easier now for particularly Jameson to knock the red ball away. She's got a good line on that one, coming across from the left-hand side of the court. Jasmine Hayden lining up the ramp there for Jameson. These two young women touring the world, playing boccia for Australia at a very, very high level. I think Jameson at the moment might be, I don't have the figures with me, but might be number 4 in the world in female BC3. Came into the sport through the New South Wales school sport program. I remember the coaches that saw her said she just gets it right from the very start. Well done, peeled away the red ball. So the blue team now, because the red team have played all their balls, they can keep putting balls down. They've got 3 left. They've got 3.5 minutes to do it. They're both really experienced players. I think we can see a fairly high score coming up here. Wendy consulting her chart there. These players have all got calibration marks. You might be able to see down the marked on the side, inside of the wooden side of the ramp. I think you can see that, and those marks say how high you have to put each ball to reach each point on this court. Very, very meticulously done. Wendy Evans rolling one in there, maybe might need a bit of a push-up. You might have noticed it's Jasmine there doing up her shoelace. If her shoelace were to go out of the box and sort of hang on the floor, that would be a retracted ball and possibly a penalty for part of their equipment being out of the box. Oh, lovely. That may have, from our position here, it's hard to tell. It might be 2 to red, 2 to blue, or 3 to blue. We'll find out soon. That means we think at this stage they might have 3 blue balls closer to the jack than the closest red ball. Some people have asked, is it not like lawn bowls where you alternate between players taking shot for shot? But in Boccia, the person who's closest to the ball, their opposition plays the ball until they're closer to the jack and or run out of balls. And then we call this the final phase, where the players that are winning get the chance to score some extra points. 1 minute left for Jamieson to roll this ball down. Perfectly done. Doesn't have to measure. Looks like she's got a definite idea of how many balls are closer to the jack. She'll turn around and show us hopefully soon. Oh no, looks like Mark wants to come out and have a look. The captains of the teams and pairs can come out and check it out just to make sure that they agree with the score. Mark now has to go back to his box before the referee can officially give the score. 3 to blue. So that blue ball that's furthest away in front is in fact not a scoring ball. Okay, the end is over. 3 to Jameson Leeson and Wendy Evans from New South Wales. There's a minute now while the ramp operators pick up all the balls and the players can discuss between themselves what's working, what's not working, what we might try next time. It's always a lot easier in international competition because these people are all speaking English. But if maybe you're playing in a country where the language isn't English, you can get away with that language difference, meaning your opponents can't tell what you're meaning when you're speaking. 15 seconds to go before we start the next end. Everybody is reorientating their ramps. You can see Marvin Sharig there just making some fine adjustments to mark Alicia's ramp. The referee gives the sign. Wendy Evans to set the jack. Just a point of interest here, if other people use very sophisticated release mechanisms for their balls on their ramps, Wendy uses a selfie stick and it works perfectly. Ball again, the jack going to around about 3 metres. Wendy and Jameson have got a bit of a history of playing together and doing terribly well when it comes to BC3 pairs. A friendship that actually goes beyond the court. They're good pals. Kylie Jarman, Wendy's ramp operator there, setting the ball up. Wendy pushing it down. Yeah, lovely. I think neither Mark Alicia nor Liam Titterton really have a clear shot at that. She's managed to get that so that her blue ball makes it awkward for both players. Mark and Liam there thinking that maybe Mark has a better shot. Can see slightly more of the jack behind the blue ball. Might be able to manoeuvre it into a better position for them. Making sure there that the end of the ramp isn't over that baseline that you can see. It can go over the player's box beside them, Jameson's box, But these ramps are set up so that they hover over the ground by about a millimetre, which means it's not touching the ground in Jamieson's box, and that's the rule at the moment. It can go over the box, but it can't touch the ground in the box. Very sophisticated adjustments on these ramps. Well done, yep. Mark's used a very hard ball there to separate them. It's still red to play, because the blue ball's closest, so they've got the next shot, which is what you would want to have in this situation. Now you've got the chance to put a holding ball in front and touching on the jack. You can see through the perspex there on Mark's ramp that he's aiming very, very carefully. His ramp operator just giving the ball a bit of a rub between his hands. Everybody does that, even throwers, because you need to not have any out of roundness on the ball. They have to be able to roll the ball across the court accurately without deviating. Very important part of the BC3 game. It's still leaving the jack open there. Some instructions from Captain Jamieson there, what she'd like Wendy to do. With all three athletes being from New South Wales, or 4 athletes being from New South Wales, I think we can guarantee a win for New South Wales here no matter what happens. But we'd like to see some good boccia along the way. Looks like Jamieson's going to have a shot. Beautifully done. So now blue are holding. They're in front and touching, and probably with a soft ball. Liam, obviously on the far right-hand side as we look at, has a better angle at knocking that away. Slightly bigger target than Mark. So they've gone with Liam Titterton from New South Wales. Liam playing for the Penrith club. He won't be feeling it's quite so chilly here. It gets a bit chilly in Penrith too. But for those of us from more northern climes, frost on the ground is something we don't often see. And I saw some kangaroos lounging on the wet and frosty grass in a paddock just opposite where we are now. Great place, Canberra. Canada's probably a great place too, but when I wake up finally, I'll know where we are. Canberra, Australian Institute of Sport. Okay, Liam manoeuvring his chair. Biota's past his hand pointer. Let's see, hard ball, hitting hard. No, unfortunately it missed. Referee Maz now has to chase that around the court. He's got underneath the chair, out at the back of the court. Will they try the same thing again? Let's see. I think that's their best shot. It's worth having a second go at. Again, going for the big extension. Trying to develop as much power as possible. Yeah, slightly separated there now. There's still a good angle for Liam, but Liam would be running out of balls, I think, at this stage. This would probably be his last shot, and then Mark would have to do whatever he can. 2 balls left for the team playing with red balls, and 2.5 minutes to play. Not going so much with the power shot here, looking like they'll be playing a placement shot. Either that or they're using a very hard ball. Let's see which it is. Yeah, they were trying for a placement shot there, but it's just rolled off the blue ball. But that might make it a little easier for Mark playing from box number 4 there. Player 310. If he can pick that jack up and just run it backwards a little bit. That's what I would be thinking of doing. He may even be able to clip it on the right hand side, push it to the left and bring the ball, the red ball that's next to the blue ball, into play. That may be maybe the shot that they're considering. So much to think about when you're playing boccia. People think it's a simple game of rolling one ball onto another. The 1 minute call there for the red team. But it's very much a game of strategies, of making decisions and making those decisions quickly and accurately. Well, he set that up, so it's going to be a bit hard for blue perhaps to score any more points without knocking the head about a bit. They do have 5 minutes to play their balls that they've got left, and they do have 4 balls left. So I'd say 2 experienced players like Wendy Evans and Jamison Leeson again will be capable of stacking up some more points in this final phase of the game. Jamison giving instructions to her ramp operator Jasmine there on exactly the shot she wants to play. Now the choice of how many extensions to use, so we can assume here that Jamison's going to play with a power shot. Maybe now move that jack back with this shot. Let's see. Yeah, that may be part of the plan. You saw that Jasmine took great pains to get her hand away from the ball before it was released. The player has to be the last person who touches the ball, or their pointer touches the ball. It can't be released by the ramp operator. And you can see too, all the ramp operators always facing the back of the court. They can't see what's happening. They can have no influence on how their athlete is playing the game. Just take instructions from the athlete. Yep. Looks like Jamison going for a little bit of power here. She probably just needs to move that jack back just a little bit more. If they could bring one of those blue balls that's behind the jack into play, that's exactly what they've done. I'd be thinking now they'd be holding 3 shots, maybe even 4 if the one far out to the right is closer than the closest red ball. They must be pretty confident that it is. You can see Jasmine there holding up the calibration chart for Jam, so Jamison can tell her which ball she wants where on the ramp to place it. And they also, for the BC3s, balls have a little mark on them which indicates what they call the trigger, and that mark has to be placed specifically at an angle decided on by the player to try and make it run as straight as possible. Wendy going for the shot here. looking at her calibration chart to see where the ball's to be released from, and ramp operator Kylie Jarman there. So it's going to be released from fairly low down. So I'm thinking this would be a hard ball that they don't want to overshoot with. And perfect control of that ball there from Wendy. And she looks happy that she's done it. Minute and 20 seconds and one ball to go for the blue team. Wendy Evans and Jamison Leeson. And again, this is a very hard ball. You can see how far down on the ramp Wendy released it. Yeah. And she, again, controlled that perfectly. Those hard balls just keep rolling and rolling and rolling, and you just have to hope that they don't roll out of the scoring circle. So that was, I think, 6 points. Anyway, at the end of N3, Jamison Leeson and Wendy Evans are looking very, very comfortable with 9 points, and Liam Titterton and Mark Alicia yet to score. Balls all picked up by the ramp operators and taken back to the box. Everybody having a little bit of a chat, and maybe a little bit of a laugh there too by the look of the conversation between Jamison and Mark. Very friendly sport, Boccia, but as soon as the referee shows the bat and your clock starts running, yeah, your opponents, not friends. Head referee, no, line referee, I think Ken Taylor is today, discussing with the referee for the court, Maz Lester. Okay, the 1 minute's finished. The referee's handed the jack to the next player along that line, starting with Liam, then Wendy, and now it's Mark's turn to set the jack. And he and Liam would have discussed this before coming onto the court. This is the important shot. You get the jack where you want it to be, and then you get your first ball on the jack. And it's like getting an ace with your first serve in tennis. You're really controlling the point from then. Just a little bit longer, I think, than the last one. There's maybe about 3 and a bit metres into the court. Now the crucial ball. This is the one that decides how this end will be contested. If you get your first ball on in front of the jack, you're considered to be in the lead. It's up to your opponents then to move that away, and that may take 2 or 3 of their balls, which then gives you an advantage in the number of balls you have left. Good to see how much care they're taking with this first shot. Will it work? It has. Perfect first shot there from Mark Alicia. Now there is a situation here where Wendy and Jamison could just defend. All they have to do, they've got 9 points. Their opponents, if they hold this, have 1 point. So all they need to do is to stop their opponents winning another 7 points, and considering they've only got 6 balls, that's not looking very probable at the moment. The only thing that could change it is one of the blue players incurs a penalty. Then that would mean that the red players get to play a shot at the penalty square in the middle of the court there and maybe pick up another point. Wendy Evans and Jamieson Leeson been in this game for a long time. Jamieson there has turned the jack, still touching the red ball, but presenting a bigger target, I'd say, probably, from her position there. She's got two balls to aim at rather than just one. And maybe she'll be looking to push the jack back. Maybe she'll be looking to push the red ball away and leave her ball in front of the jack. Those options are open, and probably more that Jam knows about than I do. Always exciting to see the tactics and the shots that people come up with that we haven't seen before. Consulting the calibration chart there. Okay, blue still to play. That means that that ball must not be touching the jack, and the red ball next to the jack is. That just blue ball just needs a little bit of a tickle up now. And looks like Wendy's the woman to do that. They're deciding what to do here. Looks like Wendy Evans selected the ball she wants to use, and now selected the ramp extension to give her just the right power to play the shot that she's chosen. Is she going to move the red ball? The referee says no, that didn't work. Blue still not touching the jack. The red ball closer, so the blue players still have to play. As we said earlier, though, there's still a very little chance that the blue team will lose this game, as they're already 9 points up, and this is the third end. But if the decision